Hi, I'm Stephen Jones. At Robert Wood Johnson, we believe citizens need to be informed about the important healthcare issues affecting their lives. That's why we're proud to support the healthcare programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by PNC Bank, Bergen Community College, United Water. Making the planet sustainable is the best job on Earth. Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, the heart of academic medicine. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, and by Fedway Associates. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato at the Tisch WNET studio. It's my pleasure to introduce a fellow Rutgers alum who achieved real greatness. She's Becky Quick, co-anchor of CNBC's Squawk Box and also of the nationally syndicated show On the Money, seen Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Squawk Box, seen every day from 6 to 9.
You're right. Thank you, Steve. It's great to see you.
Great to see you. By the way, what time do you get up for that show?
My alarm is set every morning for 3:44 because 3:45, 3:40, you know, it's all in that arena. But as somebody who gets up really early in the morning, you have a very fitted schedule. I know where I'm supposed to be every minute of the morning.
Yeah, describe Squawk Box for folks who do not know it.
It's a financial show, and we're there covering the news that's happening in the morning, but we're trying to do more than just report the news. We're trying to analyze things that are coming out, and sometimes we take a little bit of a fun look at life, but we're really there covering the markets, covering money, covering what's happening on Wall Street and on Washington, and just trying to get people set up for what to expect that day with the markets and beyond.
Becky, you and I have talked about Rutgers before. We have a connection through our friends at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital. And, you know, I remember last time I saw you, we were, you know, thinking about the Rutgers piece of this, and it's become a very different institution, the Big Ten piece. But I was interested about this. When you were graduating from Rutgers, is this what you envisioned for yourself?
No. I know you went through Eagleton, right?
Yes, the Eagleton Institute of Politics.
Eagleton Institute.
I had a very different thing in mind for myself.
Me too.
This wasn't it.
This wasn't, and not for me either. And I was really interested in politics. I graduated a poli-sci major, and I had worked in Washington.
By the way, Eagleton Eagleton for the folks who don't know is one of the institutes at the university. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's for real political. For lack of a better word, geeks.
For really smart people.
Right.
I'm joking.
No, it was. I didn't get picked. I applied to Eagleton.
Oh, you
I didn't
did?
get picked.
Now all of a sudden I feel
I'm
better.
jealous.
No, I'm like, kidding.
But I thought I'd wind up in Washington. I went and I worked there during my summers. That's where I did my internships. I thought I'd be a legislative assistant when I got out. Right. But I was the editor of the Daily Targum, and I
which is a great Rutgers paper.
It is a great paper. Yeah.
Right. But so the politics fascinated you.
Completely.
And you thought you'd be on the other side, actually engaged in the political policymaking process.
Yeah.
When does the piece come in where you say, you know what? I want to analyze this. I want to make sense of it for people.
It was never a conscious decision. It was, I had a friend who offered me a job at the Wall Street Journal as a news associate, and I thought it'd be a great thing to do that for a year. And then I'd go to Washington. But the Journal was such a fantastic place to work and such a fantastic place to grow up, and there was always a new job and a new opportunity. And I got sucked into that, and I stayed there for 8 years. And I just kind of have never really thought enough ahead to figure out what I was doing next.
Where's television come in? Because that's all print.
Right, that's all print. I was a print journalist, but the Wall Street Journal had a partnership with CNBC. And they pulled me in and started having me do more and more, and I just kind of wound up there accidentally.
But anchoring, it's interesting. When you're anchoring, you're navigating this ship, and you've got to tell everyone who your colleagues are?
Yes, Joe Kernan and Andrew Ross Sorkin are my two co-anchors, and we just really have a great time. I don't necessarily think of it so much as anchoring as just being in the thick of things and knowing what's happening as it's coming up fast. We've got computers in front of us on the
That's
set.
right.
And the show is very lightly scripted. They'll have some headlines for us to read, but a lot of what we do is unscripted, just talking about what we think about the headlines. And honestly, we don't practice it before we get on set. We don't even really talk about it in the makeup room. We just react. And when you've been with people for a while and you get to know their personalities and you've been following financial journalism for a while, it's just fun to see the different perspectives that each of us bring to a story.
You know, we had one of your former colleagues, Maria Bartiromo, was in the other day, who made the switch over to another network. And we were talking about the whole question of who the market is for financial news. And she got her perspective. I'm curious about yours.
I don't know what Maria said, but personally, when we're talking to people in the morning, I'm thinking about a lot of different people who are in our audience. Sometimes it's people who are working on Wall Street who are doing this for a living, but more often than not, what we're trying to do is reach out to the people at home. And often I think of my mother in my head and try to think what she would be thinking about this and making sure that we're not talking down to people, but we're explaining it in ways that the average person at home can play along. Because I really think money, if you follow the money, you follow the trail for everything. It's not just financial news. I think every story you break down can come down to a money angle in some way, shape, or form. And it gets back to what's important to people and how they can live the way they want to. So a lot of times we're just trying to make sure that we're keeping those viewers in mind too.
Becky, how has 2008 and everything that happened in 2008 and the horrific economic implosion impacted the world?
Oh, I think it's had huge impacts that have not even played out yet, Steve. We saw what happened instantaneously, where people lost jobs, where people lost massive parts of their savings, of their 401ks, people lost their homes. That was the immediate impact, but I think we carry so much more with it because there was a real loss of faith in institutions, whether it be the banks, whether it be Washington, whether it be the people who are supposed to be the watchdogs and on the lookouts, the media. There was a big loss of faith. Well, yeah, people have asked us, why didn't you tell us it was coming? It was hard to know what was out there when even the people who were supposed to be in charge weren't seeing it either. So I think there's been a huge backlash and a loss of faith. And I think that is going to have long-term implications. I think about it when we talk about the millennials who are out there now, maybe starting to finally get to the point where they're going to buy a home, but a lot of them have debt that's left over from college. And a lot of them are much more conservative in terms of thinking, look, they watched several massive crashes come through. If they weren't in 2001, if they didn't get hit, they definitely did in 2008. And it makes them lose faith in the institutions like Wall Street and like the stock market. And that's really troubling. I think about what happened after the Great Depression, where people who lived through that wouldn't buy stocks ever again.
That's right.
It's really hard to get to a point where you can save enough money before you retire if you don't invest in stocks and invest in stocks where you're young. And I worry about that.
But you know, Becky, on the other side of things, you've interviewed Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and the folks who may have taken a hit but are doing just fine.
Yeah.
What do you take away from those interviews in terms of their worldview and how much different it is from the folks you just talked about? Is it literally like two different universes?
It depends on who you're talking to. Somebody like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, they're spending a lot of time and a lot of money investing back. You know, Buffett has given Gates and the Gates Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the bulk of his fortune. He's giving away 99% of his money, and most of that is going to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Excuse me, is that the exception, people who are incredibly wealthy giving that much away?
No, I find it more and more. I mean, we had Ken Langone was on our set this morning, and he is also incredibly active
Tell
in
folks who Ken Langone at Home Depot.
Right,
Ken
one of the
Langone,
founders
right? Yes.
of Home Depot.
Gives a lot away.
Yeah, a lot of money away. And I think that probably gets lost in some of this. But I'm not saying that they can walk in someone's shoes who lost everything in 2008. But I am saying that they are aware of the massive inequality that exists and are actively trying to do something about that. And I think that's pretty important, too.
You know, I'm curious about this because in our business, we have relationships with people, and sometimes it's tough to separate those friendships and those acquaintances from what you have to do. Warren Buffett, you have a good relationship?
I do. Yeah, I would call him a friend.
You'd call him a friend?
I would.
Have you found it tough sometimes to ask the really tough questions of Warren Buffett because of that relationship?
No, I actually find it easier to ask tough questions of him because he knows it's my job. And more importantly, he understands that If I don't ask the question, he doesn't look any better for it. I've asked him some pretty tough questions. Even last year, he was under fire because of the Coca-Cola decision.
That's right.
And he's the major owner. He's the majority, not the majority owner, but he's the largest shareholder in Coca-Cola.
The largest individual shareholder.
Right,
Yes.
or Berkshire Hathaway, his company is. They own about 12% of Coca-Cola shares. And he was under pressure because he abstained from voting on a very contentious shareholder vote. There was a movement afoot that was led by David Winters, another large shareholder, although his share is much smaller than Warren Buffett's. But he was pointing out that he didn't think that the pay was correct, and the way that they were paying a lot of their managers had set up some of the incentive pay.
Right.
Warren Buffett actually agreed with him, but didn't vote with him in that. And he was
challenged Buffett.
I did, yeah.
He wasn't peeved?
I was surprised. No, I think he understands that people have these questions. I'm not asking questions that other people aren't thinking. So if I have an interview with him and I don't ask him those questions, he doesn't look good and I don't look good for it.
It's interesting. There have been some political figures that I've had friendly relationships with. I've asked them really tough questions. And
But how did you feel about it?
I felt fine. They didn't. No, they didn't. Trust me.
Look,
they have different reactions than what you just
Some people have
described.
thinner skins.
Yeah.
And
We're not naming names, but
some people have thinner skins, and I will admit there have been some people who haven't liked questions, and I'm thinking of someone that very recently, in fact, I talked about them today.
On the air.
Yeah, who had a much thinner skin, and I won't name names either, but look, if you don't take the tough questions, you shouldn't be in the position that you're in.
And we shouldn't be sitting here to do this.
Right.
Switch gears dramatically. The Brain Injury Association, you've had a very strong, Brain Injury Alliance, you've had a very strong connection with them. Explain why and the impact.
Well, the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey is my pet charity, and for a couple of reasons. I'll tell you, when I was at Rutgers, when I was a student there, my younger brother, Brian, was riding his bike. He was 12 years old, and he was hit by a car. And he suffered a traumatic brain injury. So it was something that my whole family's been very involved in. Brian lives at home with my parents in southern New Jersey now. And it's an organization that does so much good, both from preventative measures, trying to work with children, with the elderly, trying to make sure that they can help prevent brain injuries, getting kids to wear bike helmets, but also helping out families who have been impacted and had their lives torn apart by a brain injury. Because a brain injury doesn't affect just one person, it affects everyone who loves you. And there are families who struggle so heartily. I mean, we were fortunate, I use this term very loosely, but we were fortunate in the position that my brother was injured just before the New Jersey Joint Underwriters Association, that plan ended.
The JUA.
The JUA was there. And as a result, Brian has all kinds of help that families who had injuries after that date, that they haven't had the same benefits. And so the Brain Injury Alliance tries to help a lot of those families and make sure that you know, if you're in a position where you have a son who you can no longer carry up the stairs anymore to his bed because you have all the bedrooms on the second floor, maybe they can help you by installing either an elevator or a chairlift to get you up the ways.
It's a great organization.
Yeah, it is a great organization.
Last question before I let you out of here. You've interviewed all kinds of leaders in the world of business and other arenas, and you're a leader yourself. What would you say the most significant lesson you learned about leadership has been so far?
Watching the great leaders, watching the people that I admire the most, they remind me that you should treat everyone the way you want to be treated, and you should, when in a position of power, use that power appropriately and help the people who don't have a voice.
Boy, do people forget that. Yeah. Do you mind if I plug again?
No, please do.
Yeah, Becky Quick is the co-anchor of CNBC's Squawk Box, seen every morning, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., and also on the nationally syndicated show On the Money, 7:30 p.m. on Sundays. A Rutgers alum, one of the best we've ever had coming out of that great university. Thank you so much, Becky.
Steve, it is a pleasure to be here with you, and great to see you.
All right, you got it. Stay with us from the Tisch WNET studio here in the heart of Lincoln Center. Thanks, Becky.
Thank you.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
So your group?
The Varietons.
Yeah, just you and Tommy. and his brother Nick and this other guy, Nicky.
So where were they?
They went away for a while.
What for?
They did some things.
Friends like that? Maybe you should just change your name to Sinatra.
I'm gonna be as big as Sinatra.
Only if you stand on a chair.
Hey, why you gotta say that kind of stuff?
Look, first of all, Sinatra wouldn't be caught dead in that jacket. Where'd you get it?
I don't know. Tommy got it off a truck.
Exactly. Tommy's a two-bit hustler. He doesn't see the big picture.
Yeah, so what do I do?
Come in. Got a nickel?
Yeah.
Call your mother. You're gonna be home late.
That's Renee Marino in that very hot scene with
Renee Marino and with John Lloyd Young.
in the great movie Jersey Boys, directed by the extraordinary Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite scenes in that movie.
Thank you. It's so surreal still to watch. I'm like, oh my goodness, I really did that.
You really did that.
I really did it.
All the way from Linden, New Jersey.
All the way from Linden, New Jersey. Who would have thunk?
Your journey to there, being a mentee of the extraordinary Clint Eastwood, how tough?
All I can say is you dream when you're a young girl. You know, you dream when you're a young boy. We all, you know, have dreams and goals, and my goal was always to be a performer on Broadway. And I've been blessed enough to be on Broadway in 4 wonderful shows, and one of those shows was Jersey Boys. And one Sunday afternoon, there I am on stage, we're singing My Boyfriend's Back, you know, the sassy girls. And all of a sudden, the light goes out into the audience, and 10 rows back, whose mug do I see? Mr. Clint Eastwood. And I was like, oh, all right, here we go. And, you know, we'd been hearing a buzz that he's coming around to the different casts to, you know, to check out actors for the film. And I didn't think much of it, because I assumed, you know, they're going to cast some big name for Mary Delgado. But still, it was exciting to have him in the audience. And then a few weeks later, I had an audition for the film. And, you know, my agents were just wonderful at the time. And, you know, we were trying to get in to get an appointment for Mary Delgado, but I just got an appointment for one of the angels. And while I was in the room, Steve, I was talking to the casting director, and I was like, I have to do this. This feels too right. And I said, I have to be honest with you. I was really hoping to come in and read for Mary Delgado. And he looks at me and he goes, I was just thinking the same thing.
He said that?
He said that. So that day, I got to do the scenes, and I just left that day feeling so grateful that I got the chance. That was my thing. I was like, if this film comes out and I didn't have an opportunity to read those scenes and audition for that role, that would have broken my heart. But once I did, I was like, this is awesome. And I felt great, didn't think anything of it. A few weeks later, I'm at my home that I grew up in New Jersey with my mom, dad, and grandmother. We're leaving for my brother's wedding, and I get a call from my agent, and she goes, you're Mary Delgado in the movie. Clint Eastwood loved you. I was like, ooh. So it was just surreal. Surreal. Yeah, that's the only way I could put it. And even watching it still today, I'm like, oh my, like, I'm on a movie screen. I'm on a TV screen. It's insane.
You know, it's so interesting. John.
Yeah.
The first interview he did was with him one-on-one when it first came out with us way back in the day.
Get out.
And I was hoping that things would turn out for him a certain way, and you wondered after Jersey Boys was a huge hit. It was tough for him for a long time.
Yeah.
To come full circle and
course.
to be in this film.
Yeah.
And to be there with you was extraordinary.
So special.
Describe, you know, advice for a lot of young folks, younger folks who want to get into this, anyone who wants to get into it. Constantly dealing with rejection, which is part of the business, part of our business, part of your business.
Yeah.
Advice.
I think the best advice I can give kids, and I teach all the time, master classes, and I love it. I love teaching so much. I often tell them, number one, you have to have the passion. And I graduated from Wagner College in Staten Island, and I majored in musical theater, and that's what our teachers told us. You know, you have to love this so much that you can't picture yourself doing anything else. Because guess what, guys? You're not always going to make money doing this. And there's a lot of rejection. So that's first and foremost. Second of all, train, train, train. Keep taking class forever. You'll always be taking class. I'm out in LA taking acting classes, taking commercial classes. Singing, dancing, all of it.
Everything.
It's always upkeep. Because guess what? This is your instrument as an actor, as a dancer, as a singer. So it's about always, keeping that in tune, just like a computer, you have to update programs. Well, you always have to keep yourself, healthy and strong. And third of all, just keep dreaming. Like I said, this film for me was more than I could have imagined. It was more than I ever dreamed of. So just never stop going. You have to keep going forward, and even through the rejection, always stay true to yourself. And that's what my father always said.
Yeah, talk about family for a second, because actually the irony is that while I saw you in the movie and loved you, our friends from Fedway told me
Mr. Neil Barnett.
Yeah, Neil's a good guy. Great guy. And Rob Sansone, those guys told me about you, and I go, wait a minute, how do you know her? And there's a connection back to your family. Even though we're in the heart of New York City here in Lincoln Center, Broadway, right down the street, your Jersey roots mean a lot to you.
100%. Steve, I am such a family-oriented person. My mom, my dad, they're my best friends. My grandmother, who actually just recently passed, was my other best friend. Thank you. And her name was Frances. I call her Franny Panties. She's sassy, just like Mary Delgado. She was very sassy. They're the ones who instilled, I feel, the most important values that I could ever have learned.
Describe them.
My father always said, I was always a perfectionist my whole life, even as a little girl, trying to write my ABCs perfectly. And he'd be like, Renee, you gotta let yourself go. Take one thing at a time, but no matter what, you stay true to yourself. Always remember where you came from, Don't get swayed by, oh, you should be more like this. You should try this. It's like, no, this is who I am. This is how God made me, and I'm just gonna put my best foot forward. And I feel like that's what's such a blessing for me, having such a strong support system, my family. That's what's allowed me to get to this point in my career. Till this day, I'm married, talk to my mom every day on the phone.
You do?
Oh, of course. My father, we're, every day checking in, how are you, what's going on? And that's so important. When I got to the set that first day, I was never on a TV show, never did a film, never.
Because everything was staged.
Nothing, yes, everything was staged. So here I am, literally walking off of a cliff, it felt like, and I was like, all right, Dad said, let yourself go. Here we go. And it was such a family atmosphere, and that's what the crew.
Was that because of Clint Eastwood?
Yes, it always starts from the top down, and he is one of the most genuine people that I've ever met, truly. And then meeting the rest of his team that he always works with.
Look at that shot.
I love him. He's just the best. He is the best. He is all about family. He's all about, there's no ego when it comes to Clint Eastwood. So for me, I connected with that so much because that's who I am. I love surrounding myself with good people, and him and I had a conversation about it the first day on set. We had lunch together
About family?
About family and about life is too short to surround yourself with people that don't lift you up. So, he's such a mentor of mine. All of his crew, Steve Campanelli, who's his head cameraman, we call him Campy. I still check in with them. And I just feel so grateful for that experience, Steve. Not just because I got to be in a major motion picture, but I got to do it with a group of great people.
Interesting, the transition from stage to film, challenging.
Oh, yeah.
But also, a film like this comes out. There's an audience for it. Most of us who love the Broadway production wanted to see it. Others who are curious.
Yeah.
They know you now. Who didn't know you before, whatever. How much pressure do you put on yourself, in spite of all the support, in spite of what your dad told you, Clint Eastwood told you, how much pressure do you put on yourself to say, this is what I need to do next? Or do you just let the universe decide?
Such a good question. High five. It's a balance between the two, honestly. For me, how incredible, I get to play this incredible role in my first film. So now, yes.
Yeah, what do you do for an encore?
Exactly. It's like, what's next? It's like, well, I want to know the same thing. I got to play my first guest star role in a TV show called Weird Loners with Fox. So that was awesome because that got my feet wet for TV.
Right.
And now it's just about, like you said, leaving it up to the universe, you know? I go to these auditions and, you know, I keep my face out there. I have great agents, you know, who have my back. But in the meantime, Steve, it's about nobody's going to work harder for me than myself. So it's not about just waiting around and hoping that something. No, you don't wait.
You don't actually say, hey, why is my agent not calling?
No.
You say, I have to be my own best cheerleader. I have to get out there.
Yes, you create opportunities. So I just wrote my own one-woman show. And yes. So hopefully you'll come see it when I bring it to New York. But it's so, so exciting for me. It's about my life and about, you know, my upbringing with my mom, dad, and my grandmother, and the stories about Franny Panties and about making the transition from Broadway to
being Italian Matter too?
Of course.
I knew that.
It's all in there, of course, you know? And I get to sing, and that's the thing, you know, a lot of people in the film world don't know that I'm a singer and a dancer as well. So, you know, I could show a little bit of everything.
Favorite scene in the movie?
Ooh,
was it that?
The fight scene.
The fight. Oh,
the breakup scene.
Jen Eichlin, our executive producer. Can we run the clip?
Yes,
the fight
please.
scene. The fight scene.
That.
This is what she says to Frankie when she has to say this to Frankie.
You show up for a couple of days and you think that makes you a father?
That's why I'm here. Not stoned out of my mind. You think the kids don't know what you're doing?
You want to switch places anytime. There's the kitchen,
you go
there's
out
the
on the
washing
road.
machine.
We've only got with you, man.
No, thanks. I wouldn't want to cramp your style.
Listen, the road is the road. I'm out there busting my hump to provide for this family.
Bull! Your family's out there. You think I don't know what goes on? Here. Give it to one of your special friends. Go tour to space for all I care. You'll see what you always were. A dumb wop from Jersey who never even graduated high school. Mr. Valley with a Y. Give me a break.
Pick that up. Pick that up.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by PNC Bank, Bergen Community College, United Water, Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, and by Fedway Associates. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
In medical school, doctors hope that someday they won't just practice medicine, they'll pioneer it. At Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, someday isn't just a dream. As one of the nation's leading academic medical centers, we provide advanced medicine and minimally invasive technology to save lives. Someday this expertise will be available everywhere. But for those who can't wait for someday, there's RWJ and Robert Wood Johnson Medical School today, the heart of academic medicine.